Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm Tony and I'm building another 1:6 scale Armortek tank. It is the Hetzer or the Jagdpanzer 38 this time, and when we left off last time I'd installed the mudguards. We'd put all the accessories on the mudguards and it's really starting to take shape. So today is track building day. It's that time when you all builders have to arrive at, when you can't put it off any longer. It is a long monotonous exercise, but you know what, you get in the swing of it, it's fine. I won't bore you with the entire process. What I'll do is I will film it, but I'll ask Ben to speed the whole thing up, and then I can just sit in my own time and assemble these tracks. Now there's 97 links in each track. As you know, I built a small section of track previously, and that was really just to make sure I could align the wheels with the idler wheel and the main sprocket when I installed all the wheels, and that's always very handy or useful thing to do. So this is very helpful to do that. So I just need to finish this side and then another 97 individual links for the other side. And as I said, it is a very slow and monotonous, can be monotonous, but once you get in the swing of it, I tend to just put the music on in the background and just crack on. I may even get a help from a little helper today. He's possibly coming in, my grandson, but we'll see. And all you need really for the job in hand is your bag of links, or your track links that Armortek sends you, your bag of track pins, your bag of little split pins, and tool wise all you need is a set of cutters, because you're going to need to trim the split pins, and I've got a couple of sets of long nose pliers, one small, one large, and that's just to help me bending them around. And I've also got a sort of sharp pointed tool here, and that's just to help me split the pins and start the bending process off. So what I will do is I will film the first couple of links, but then as I said, I'll speed the whole process up. The only other thing I have is a pencil, and I just mark where I am on the track build, and I do it in sections of 10 or 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 and so on. It just saves me stopping to count them individually. And the only other thing I would advise is make sure you wear barrier cream or something similar on your hands. If you're not comfortable with barrier cream, make sure you wear a pair of gloves, but these sort of the tight fitting working gloves, because you can end up cutting yourself or prodding yourself with one of the split pins. And be very careful that you don't get it in between your finger and your nail, which I've done in the past. So just be careful, and you'll be fine. So I will reposition the camera in a moment, and we'll zoom in and we'll crack on with the wonderful task of building these tracks. Right, we're just about ready to go. So I've got a bunch of track links, I've got the track pins, I've got the split pins, I've got all my tools, and I've got the first 3 links that we're going to assemble. We're going to assemble here. I will zoom in on this in a moment, but I just wanted to say that before you go ahead and start this track build, you're going to need a lot of space. There's 97 links. By the time you sort of double up, it's you're talking about 1.5 meters at least, 1.6 meters, I think, roughly speaking. That's the amount of table space you're going to need to do these track links. And when you're assembling them and working on them, you will be working on them upside down. Well, I would. That's how I do it. Upside down here, like so. Let me put it the right way around, like so. But then you need to be able to turn it up and work on it so that you can get the pins, do your work on the pins. So what I tend to do is I just snake the link of the track like that, and it's really stable, and then it allows you to carry on working. Now, unlike the M26, where I put 4 or 5 links and put the pins in at the same time, I've found that it doesn't work as well with this, because they're so much smaller than the M26 tracks. So I do them individually, but once you get into the rhythm, you speed the whole process up. Now the only other thing of note, if you like, the Armortek suggests that the split pins run on the outside of the tank. I know some people do that so that the pin is on the inside, but then it can be awkward if you ever need to remove a link to be able to get to these split pins. So I'm going to follow what Armortek suggests. So the split pin should be on the outside of the tank, and the head should be on this side. And from what I can see, this is the right pattern, if you like, the pattern of the track. So what I will do is, when you do the other side, you just need to be mindful that you want the track pattern to be the same. So for instance, if I've got these links here, let me move these back here, got these links here, I'm going to be offering the pin through the back of this, like so, and I'll just put that in temporarily. This is without the split pin in, so This is just to demonstrate this. And so what I'll do is when I turn, and so now the head of the pin is here and the split pin is this side. When I turn that upside down, you'll see that it's the wrong way. It doesn't match that pattern, like so. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. However, this will go on the other side of the track on the tank. So when you turn it around that side, so we've now got the pins, if you like, the head of the pin on the inside of the tank, you'll see that the pattern is identical and both sides have got the split pins on the outside of the tank as suggested by Armortek. So that is that. So what I'll do now is I will zoom the camera in a little bit and we'll get cracking. Right, so ready to go. So what we'll do is I've just got 3 links here. I'll just slot them into position like so. The pins come in from behind and they just push through like that. What I try and do is I try and get the hole for the split pin on this side. I'll show you that in a minute, but rotated round so it faces up and down rather than side to side. And you can do that before you put it in, helps. Actually, I can just see there's a bit of work to do on that pin. It's not completely open, as is the case sometimes on these. And I'll just rotate that around. I can get hold of it. That's that. I'm not sure if you can see that, but the little holes for the split pins. That's spun around again. So what I'm planning to do, as I do on all the builds so far, I'm going to get these tracks built and then I'm going to install them, test fit them onto the tank itself, and then adjust it if I need to using the idler wheel, or ultimately may have to remove a link or 2 to get the track tension as I want it, and then I'll take them off the tank so I can paint them, and then I will be putting them back on as soon as I've got them painted this time because I want to test the motors. So what I'll do is I'll take the I'll take the tank off the motorcycle jack so I can get it onto the bench to test the tension of the tracks. So that's what I'm planning to do. So then I'm going to rotate this up. So there they are, the 2 split pins in position. Now this comes the tricky bit, and again I'm on camera, so this is going to be awkward, I guess. It won't work. So I'll just use this really sharp tool here. It's just a pin making tool, if you like, just to try and get in and split or start the splitting process. To try and do that by hand is really awkward. I'm trying to do this so you can see it on the camera. Sorry guys. So then just get that in, and then that just helps starts the process off, opens it up a bit. So just bend these around ever so slightly like that. I don't know if you see that. Now what we're going to do is trim these because they're too long. And I'm wearing my safety vision glasses because these will tend to ping off, so if you're doing this, make sure you do have something to protect your eyes. That one didn't this time, but sometimes they do ping off. Just get them trimmed so that they're easier to work with and bend round so they don't conflict with the track, so to speak. And when they're trimmed using your long nose pliers, I grab the head of the end of the pin and the split pin, and then using my long nose pliers bend them round. If the little loop in the split pin was big enough, you could put the nose of the pliers into it, and then use that as a way of almost like an anchor or a fulcrum. I don't know if you can see that. Sorry, I'm trying to do this so I can see it, but at the same time give you guys you can see how awkward this can be. But as I said, once you get into the swing of it, all good. Right, that's it. So what we're looking for ideally is this split pin folded back on itself, both sides, as you can see there, very neatly done. And without trimming these, that's going to be really difficult to do. So that's 3 down, 94 to go. So what I'll do is I will probably reposition the camera so you can see the thing coming together, and ask Ben to speed the entire process up. Right, so that's one side track done, all 97 links. Now it's time to test fit these and see whether or not there needs to be a link removed. Now, ordinarily, I would install these without the drive motors installed, so this would be really quite straightforward, because I can spin the sprocket around and allow me to feed the track onto the rest of the tank. However, now, because of I've installed the drive motors ahead of time because of all the paraphernalia to do with the restricted space inside the hull, I now have to be careful about how I install this, because I still need to have access to be able to get the pin in, so I need to put it one side or the other. So I've decided that I'm going to go this side. So when I put the final pin in, let's just turn it around the right way. I'll be able to get access to put the final pin in on this side. However, I think it's going to be super tricky to be able to do this. So what I'm hoping to do is I'm going to just unwind the track a little bit. So I have the beginning part of it on this side. I hope I'm not blocking the camera. I'm going to then bring this around using the idler wheel and this top runner wheel. And then I'm just going to try and feed. Obviously, this is super awkward, but I'm going to have to try and feed. Actually, there we go. Just wasn't inside the sprocket. So just bit by bit, just trying to feed that through. It is so awkward, but I have a feeling it's going to be alright. There we go. I'll keep the tension on this. Just slowly. I've got it now this end. Just slowly trying to feed that around with my fingers. Need to do one more. There we go. Now I can lock that just using the sprocket, and then bring this around so the wheels sit inside it, and then I can see that, yeah, that's no problem. I can actually get a pin in that. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm not going to put a split pin in, I'm just going to put the pin in for now. It is jolly awkward. Might need the assistance of me trusty mallet. Actually, what I think I might have to do ahead of that is drop it down so that this is on the actual worktop. So I'll do that and then I'll be right back. So that's the tank off of its jack, just resting directly onto the workbench. So now this slack has been taken up and all the weight is no longer hanging down, so that gives me a chance to get this pin in. So we're going to try and do that one more time. I think I might have to introduce a clamp just to pull those together. Better. It's just that the angle's not working there, so I'll go in this side. It's just temporary, so that's that. This is really just so that we can get the track tension there. So you can see that there's a bit of movement on that track, and I don't think that's the right that's going to need a little bit more tensioning. So what I'll do is I'm going to turn this around now so that we can get access to the to move everything out of the way. Just going to turn this around so we can get access to the back on the idler, so we can actually get some tension on this. Let me just move that camera down a bit so you can see that. And now what we're going to do is see by adjusting the idler arm, excuse me, just checking just making sure I'm going the right way. I know I am. So I can actually see the idler wheel moving out. So I don't know if you can see that rotate or moving ever so slowly up. I can definitely see the wheels. A bit of tensioning, definitely getting better. That's it on its. That's on its full. That's on its full as tight as it possibly can go with the idler wheel, and actually I think that's pretty good. So let me just spin that back round so that you can see it. So we can see that this looks about right. I think obviously when it's been driven, the links tend to just loosen up a little bit and you get a little bit more slack on it. I may end up taking one link out of this further down the line, but I think for the purposes of testing the motors and everything else, I think I'm happy with that actually. So we can see that the track fits perfectly, everything's aligned. Looking down the line of it, it looks exactly as I'm just eyeing that in. It's perfect. So I'm really pleased with that. Obviously I will now go on and do the other side, but I'll do that away from camera because I know Ben time-lapse this first track. I don't think I'll put you through that anymore. And if you're wondering, this tool here is just an extension bar off of my socket set, which is this thing here, and I'm using this square section which just so happens to fit perfectly on the tensioning access to the idler wheel, and that's just simply part of my. It's an extended bar for my socket set. So it just turns out that it seems to be the perfect tool for the job. So anyway, I'll just pack this away and I'll be straight back to you. that's it for today's session. It was all about just building the tracks today. I didn't get around to doing the other side, but I will do that away from camera. So by the time you see me again, I would have built and assembled the remaining of that. We did one side, which is all 97 links, and actually it does fit onto the tank, as you saw. Worth test fitting it before you do anything else. And I wanted to do this side, and then at least I know that 97 links works for the other side. So what remains to be done as far as the track's concerned is I'll complete this away from camera, as I said, and then once I've got both tracks completed, I will spray paint them, get them sprayed up and painted, and all the spare links that need to go on top of the roof and the back section and all the rest of it, get all those painted. And then I will fit the tracks probably for the final time. I'll adjust both sides one last time, and then I'll get some power onto the motors and just test the tracks when they're rotating, and to see if they're running aligned as they should do. So that's it. If you've joined me today, thank you for watching. If you've liked this video, give me a thumbs up please, and if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, because I keep saying there's a lot more to do on this model. This model is smaller than the M26 and smaller than the Tiger, but by no means is it easier. There's a lot of detail, and even though it looks as if we're getting very close to the end, there's still a lot to do, and especially with the electronics, which I'll cover off in another video. So I'll sign off by saying I'm Tony, this is my workshop. I love building these tanks, as you know, and I look forward to seeing you in my next session. Thank you and goodbye.